Fill her up.
You're listening to the Gas Digital Network.
Are they all here?
All but one.
Well, I'm going anyway.
I'm the best at what I do.
You're listening to the Think Tank Podcast.
Look at the fucking smile on my face.
With your host, Tank Sinatra.
All right. Nikki Glaser.
Hi.
Welcome
Hey, George.
Welcome to the Think Tank.
Thank you for having me.
Call me Tank in here.
Really?
George is dead. George only exists outside these walls.
Okay. Tank.
You want to call me George?
No, I want to call you Tank. I was just trying to be
respectful.
Yeah, but if you want me to call you Tank, I much prefer it. It's easier. Tank.
Well, it's better than
George.
It's
easier than George.
Much better than George.
No, George is a great name.
George is a strong name.
Such a strong name, and you don't hear it that often. You don't meet a lot of people our age with the name George. I mean, how old are you? Do you even say?
39, yeah.
Yeah, that's
very vocal.
That's a young
age.
George. Did you grow up around many Georges? I didn't know any Georges.
Believe it or not, I was once even younger.
Right. But you're the youngest you'll ever be right now.
And the oldest I've ever been.
Yeah, that's true too.
We're going so deep so fast.
Oh, it's already.
Yeah, my name as a child was a bit of a nuisance because there was so many different ways to make fun of it.
Really?
Oh my God.
George of the Jungle, George.
Curious George.
Oh yeah, Curious George. Sorry, my headphones are all weird. What other? Keep going. What?
Georgie Porgy.
Okay, none of these are really that bad.
Well, Georgie Porgy is Georgie Porgy, pudding and pie, kissed the girls and made them cry. When the boys came out to play, Georgie Porgy.
No one knows that. What kids really know that limerick?
Are you serious?
Really?
I used to get it a lot.
Kissed the girls and made them cry?
First of all, they're portraying me as a rapist at 6 years old, and I didn't, And then when the guys come out to defend the girls, I just run away.
Oh, right.
It was like I would never do either of those things.
Wait, when the guys would come, I can't hear from these. These headphones suck, and I'm gonna hate them the rest of the time. One of them's dead. I'm so sorry, George.
No, it's okay. You're good to go?
Yes.
All right, so we're just gonna leave that all in there.
Yeah, just do it. We're back.
Wait,
new headphones.
I like to start off. I hate doing this now because we're in a good rhythm. But I like to read a review at the beginning of the episode, just so that people know that I'm reading them.
Oh, a review of yours.
From the podcast, yeah.
Okay, yeah. As long as it's not a review of anything I've done, I'm good.
Okay, so check this out. From Amanda Weber. Love anything Tank does in something. It cuts it off. Top-notch podcast. I also enjoy the variety of guests brought on. Which, apropos to you...
What a dumb way to get into me, George.
That's what she said.
Okay, that was a good one.
That's the only reason I did it. So wait, you said
what a dumb way. That's great. That's great.
You were just
not
sitting
that
here.
hole. That's the dumbest hole to get into.
Man, you were sitting here appreciating the way you look,
which is not normal for me. I'm just trying to. I was having a good moment. I saw myself on the monitor, and I'm like, "Wow, you look really pretty." And legit, that's the first time I've been nice to myself this week. I've had a really hard week,
and that's what I want to talk about.
Yeah.
So why are you having a tough week?
I don't know. I woke up on Sunday,
crushing it.
I know.
I know it doesn't matter.
I know. That's the problem. That's where I'm kind of like, oh no, if I'm not happy now and I keep, what is going to make me happy? Because I have everything that I could want in my career. I really do. And, but I just woke up Sunday. I just was talking about this with someone, and it's just like my depression and my self-loathing and my self-esteem, which is like when I'm depressed, I just tell myself I'm shit, and I'm like, I have the worst self-esteem. That's how it manifests for me, depression. But it comes up. Depression comes on for me like the flu. Like I'm just sick for people get cold. I don't get colds. I never get sick physically. It's really rare that I catch a cold, but I get depressed as much as people get colds. 3 times a year.
You need to boost that spiritual immune system.
I'm trying. I try to I meditate. I go to things. I see to people. I go to the things, and I have a therapist, and I talk to my friends about my emotions almost constantly. I mean, it's all self-work. I'm reading a book right now called It's a Man's World in a Woman's Universe. Like I read self-help books. I just got this. I'm not reading it yet. I shouldn't say that. But yeah, I'm constantly trying to better myself that I'm not depressed.
It's really interesting. I keep thinking about this woman that I met in California once when I gave this talk at this weird spiritual place, but she gave the rundown of what's happening in the world right now, and not in the world, but in the universe. And we're coming out of the age of Pisces and going into the age of Aquarius. And the age of Pisces is a violent, male kind of energy dominated age. They all last about 2,000 years. The one before Pisces, I think, was Aries, which is more feminine, so they had more female gods and whatever. And Aquarius is androgynous, meaning men with feminine energy, women with male energy. They two come in the middle. So the fact that you're reading a book called "It's a Man's World and a Woman's Universe" is very interesting.
Well, and you're hitting on the exact thing that this is this woman's newest book. Her name is Patricia Allen PhD. She wrote a book called Getting to I Do that I'm obsessed with on my radio show about when you're trying to attract a man as a woman, and if most women want to be loved and cherished for their feelings, not respected for their thoughts, and you have to pick a lane. You either want to be the masculine energy in a relationship or the feminine energy. Relationships can't exist if there's two masculine energies or two feminine energies. They'll ultimately implode. There's a yin and a yang, and I've been struggling with, in her first book, she's like, women, career-driven women have been trained to like be masculine and in their masculine energy, and when you try to date that way, it really turns off the type of men that you want because they want to come after you, so you have to hold back. So then I read her first book, and I'm like trying to be feminine in my everyday life because I'm like, I'm a feminine woman. It's just the feminist movement that's made me masculine. But then I actually did some self-reflection, and I'm a masculine woman. And that doesn't mean that I'm like a man. It just means that I go after what I want, and it's not just because I'm empowered by the movement. It's just in my DNA to get what I want. And so for me to put that on the side and wait for men to come to me, it doesn't work. So I have to like go after men, and that's really uncomfortable.
Would you date a man with feminine energy, or are you not into that?
I was so excited because I had a phone call with this author because my friend started having phone calls with this woman like as a dating coach, and it changed my friend's life. And I've got extra money and extra time, so I was like, I'll hire this bitch to talk on the phone with me for 30 minutes about my male issues, see if she has any insight. So I called her last Friday, and she is this 80-something-year-old woman. Written all these books.
I just realized that you said you were having a rough week. And it's only Tuesday.
Yeah.
Just want to point that out to you.
Yeah, it's been a hard 3 days of emotionally. I'm not working this week. That really drives me to go to a place where I'm like, I tend to overbook myself in other arenas, and then I'm really tired, even though it's my week off of work. Like, that's why I'm here. I'm like, I'll do a podcast because I didn't talk enough today.
Hopefully this energizes you.
Oh, yeah. I've already done 2 podcasts today before this. Wow. And it was a lot of talking about the same stuff, but I love talking to you. You're on my show, and just you're a feminine energy, man, even though you're so masculine because you are... This is the thing I was going to tell you. So I had this phone call with this woman, and I was like, I'm into this male comedian. I was like talking. She was like, because I was just talking about general things, and she's like, give me a case study. Like, I need to like help you with a certain guy. And I was like, oh, well, there's this one guy, and he's a comedian. She goes, perfect. She was like, female comedians are masculine, and male comedians are feminine energy. If you're a male comic, you're up there as an artist, like exposing, you're peeling the onion back and being emotional on stage. And I didn't know that male comedians were all feminine energy. And so I'm like, yes, finally, and female comics are masculine energy. So now I'm like, okay, good. I can date a male comic and maybe have a successful relationship. Yeah. I'm not doomed.
No, you're not doomed.
But everyone's like, never date a comic. And I'm like, it's all I've done. It's not all I've done, but I've tried.
Well, you date the people you're exposed to and around, which is totally normal.
I don't have a night off to go on a date with a normal person. I would rather just like meet someone
go to the diner after a show.
Yes, or at the Olive Tree, hang out at the booth upstairs, and like with other comedians. We don't have to go on a date alone. We can date slowly among our peers
and get to know each other and find out if there's actual chemistry there.
I hate dates because you just get together with someone and you're like, are we gonna have sex? And I would rather just ease into it. Justin Silver is outside the door. Speaking of...
You want to come in for a second?
Yeah, come in, Justin Silver.
He looks like...
We're talking about dating male comedians.
You look like the guy from Pokemon.
No, I'm dressed as... we dressed as each other on the podcast. So
yeah.
You're not going to...
You're not going to be on... You're not on mic.
Listen, don't get too comfortable, bro. This is my time with Nikki here.
Okay.
What do you want?
Yeah, she was talking about... She said she was into
Come over here if you want to get on the mic.
this male comedian. His name was Justin, and she was interested.
I would never date a female comic. I've never
Oh,
dated-
see, do you hear that? I'll
I'm not-
never
not-
date a female
Not
comic.
for the reason you're thinking it.
What
I've never-
reason do I think?
That for whatever personal reason you're thinking that, I would never date a female comic simply because I wouldn't want to date within my like work pool.
Okay. See,
just-
I want to date within my work
I
pool
know.
because my work is my life, and if you're not in it, you're not going to be in my life.
Did you make a conscious decision not to, but did you make a conscious decision? Was there a point in your life where you were like,
Thank you, Justin. Thank you so much for weighing in. Good to see you. Stuck on that jewel. God, you look cool.
That wig,
Addicted to it.
Yeah. I
your
know.
hair looks incredible.
It looks good, right?
It's
Yeah.
designed to get you addicted to it. It's
Yeah.
built into the
That would be insane if they were just like, no, we don't
just
want
really
to.
like it.
Yeah.
Was there a point in your life, like a fork in the road, so to speak, where you said, I could either have this kind of life or I could have this kind of life? One was, quote unquote normal, marriage, kids, maybe a job,
No.
whatever. And
Because
then-
I've been doing this since I was 18.
Yeah.
And so there was never that. I never was a high schooler or a child or anyone that was like, someday I'll have a family with kids. It was never that. It was like, I in fact, like the idea of that kind of life was like, oh, I'll just kill myself. I'm not kidding you. I was a really dark adolescent, and I mean, I've talked about this so much that people are like, shut up about your dumb anorexia. But it was like a huge pivotal moment in my life. I became anorexic. I almost died, and I wanted to die. It was like the slowest way to kill myself because I was just a depressed, suicidal teen. I didn't really realize it. So I just found like the slowest form of just starving yourself to death, essentially.
That
I
you
mean, it
can
was based
really-
on other things too. I wanted to be thin and likable, and then it gets out of control. But I was literally dying, and I didn't know how to stop it, and I didn't know how to. It's not as simple as like, oh, I'm just going to start eating. It's just so much more than that. And people don't know that. I mean, I think they do now, but
Well, an anorexia
time-
is a slow death you can really enjoy if you want to die slow.
oh, it is.
And I don't mean that facetiously. I mean, like, if you are looking to hurt yourself, even whether subconsciously or consciously, that's one way to suffer and to, like, prove to yourself.
constant suffering.
Yeah.
That you can do anything. If I went through that, if I was starving to death at my own hand, what willpower do I have? Man, I can do anything. And I got to be honest, I kind of can.
Yeah.
Like it takes, I don't mean to like toot anorexics horns, but we're oftentimes perfectionists.
Toot
We're
the horn
straight
of-
A students.
Toot the horn of anorexia, if you will.
We're smart.
Yeah.
We're driven.
Disciplined.
Disciplined.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that that's even a good thing. I honestly could use a little less discipline in my life because for me, it's always black and white. There's no gray area. I can't just be in between. I have to be underweight or like I don't want to be or overweight. Then just count me out and I'll eat everything.
I love gray area. I think Anya said on your show when I was on it,
Anya Marino.
she was talking about the gray area.
It's.
I love the gray. It
Have
used
you
to be-
found that you like the gray later in life? Because that's something, or did that come naturally?
Yeah, no, I had to work my
Yes,
ass off for it.
yes.
It was not it's something that came naturally at all because there's being a control freak or a control addict, I demand to know what's happening at all times from all angles. I just want to, even if it's bad news, I would rather get definite bad news than maybe good news.
Yes.
Like, that's not, maybe good news is definitely objectively better than definite bad
Yeah,
news.
you're right. I would rather do that a lot in relationships. Like, do you like me or not?
Yeah.
Because if you don't, let's end this. When it's like, well, they could like you if you have patience.
Yeah, he's like, let me sleep on it. And you're like, baby,
Well, I
need
won't
to
say
know right-
baby, but
I gotta know right now, will you love me?
oh
You
yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah.
You start singing that song.
Yes, you do. Like I
related to that song
I'm like, if
so
you like
much.
me, you like me, and if you don't, then let's move on. And
Yeah.
it's like it doesn't work like that. You
No,
can grow
because
on people.
there's a spectrum. Yeah, of course. You may be attracted to somebody and have a little spark, but I learned in my relationship with my wife that I always wanted like 3 years worth of trust in 3 weeks.
I know. Yeah.
Because I felt like if I don't trust you now or you don't trust me now, then there's no way I'm going to trust you in 2 years because I'm obsessed with you now. And what more could you want than for me to be obsessed with you?
I want absolutely. I want the Ariana Grande, Pete Davidson love. Head over heels. I saw that and everyone's like, this is just teenagers, puppy love. Everyone's making fun of them. And I was like, that's all I want. I want to be that obsessed with someone that you're checked out of the world. I probably am addicted to, I'm probably addicted to like the feeling of love. Like, I think everyone, why isn't everyone? The problem is that's the hardest drug for me to get. If someone dealt that drug, of like infatuation.
It's heroin.
I would be on it all the time, but I can't find a dealer, man.
Yeah.
No one will sell to me. But that's what I'm looking for is just that where you're just banging each other all the time and you can't stop thinking about him. And like, I just love it.
It's so unhealthy, though.
You can eat whatever you want because I'm not even thinking about food. Like, so much of my life is worried about food. And like, that's where I get my control now is like food and exercise or whatever. And when I'm like falling in love, I'm like, I can eat. It's almost like I'm a pre-anorexic again. Like there was a time in my life where like I didn't think about food. Do you ever think about that?
Yeah.
Because you're weird about food, right?
Yeah.
Are you?
Well, I grew up in a household where my parents did the best they could. I think they did a pretty good job. Me and my sisters are both doing okay. But I do remember vividly the night when my mom kind of gave up on cooking. I said, "What's for dinner?" And she goes, "Crabs." And I was like, "Damn, we rich? We eating crabs for dinner?" And she goes, "No, grabs." I said, "What's grabs?" She goes, "Just grab something out of the cabinet."
Oh, wow.
So I was like, "Oh, we're on our own now for food." So
Grabs.
So we used to just, I would have for dinner, I'd have 4 bagels with butter and cheese melted on top of them because it made me feel good.
Yeah.
Made my mouth feel good temporarily. And then obviously when kids would make fun of me for being fat, that would make me feel bad, but I couldn't connect the two.
No, you have because no one was checking in on your feelings, so you didn't, as far as you know, you didn't have feelings.
It took me a long time to get to know my feelings. And I think you said something before about the self-loathing. I don't know if I said this on your show. I don't know if it would have been appropriate because it's a little bit too in depth, but we can get into it here. My therapist told me something that literally changed my life. It just changed the way that I saw everything, all my behaviors, all of my decisions, all of my choices. He said, kids are self-centered. That's like literally their defining characteristic is like think the world revolves around them. So when self-centeredness and trauma intersect, self-loathing is born out of that. So when you're a self-centered person or kid or whatever and something traumatic happens, you say, even if it had nothing to do with you, you say, that happened because of something I did or something about me that's not worth loving or not valuable.
Wow.
Then the the subconscious choices you make later on in life reflect that feeling that you have about yourself, but you don't even know it.
Right.
Which explained every dating choice I ever made in my entire life.
Wow.
Up to me moving to California.
Really?
Yeah.
What did you used to go for?
The total opposite of what I knew was good for me.
Right.
I would set out like, okay, I want a girl with, my main thing was I wanted to be with a girl who hadn't been in a relationship in a year. Because I kept dating girls who were like with their boyfriend for 14 years and I'd meet them like 2 weeks after they broke up. So I said, I want a girl who hasn't been involved in a relationship in a year, among other things, some other qualities that I wanted, physical and emotional and behavioral, whatever. And as soon as I made that list, I met this girl, and she had broken up with her boyfriend of 9 years, 2 months before we started dating.
Okay.
So my friend Tim goes, I don't know, dude. You got this over here, which is what you say you want, and then you have this over here, which you chose. This void in the middle is what's jamming you up, and you got to figure out how to either fill the void or bring the two together, because otherwise you're going to struggle for the rest of your life. And I was like,
What did you do?
Changed everything about myself. I literally moved to California to go be uncomfortable for a year.
Yeah.
And I had to do everything over again. I had to make new friends. I had to learn new routes. I had to get a new job, build a new network. I was in meetings, thankfully, so it was like automatic kind of plug-in network of people to hang out with. But that was new. Even that, like I had to go over there and be like a newcomer again. I had 7 years of sobriety at the time.
Okay.
And I had to stand up and say, "Hi, I'm George.
Yeah.
I'm new."
I'm new. I can't do that. So what am I supposed to do? I can't Don Draper and create a new identity and just pick up and leave my life behind. I'm trying to fill that void too. That really spoke to me of like the people you go after and then what you say you want on paper and what's the in between, because I can't help what I'm attracted to, and what I'm really I'm disappointed in myself. I can keep projecting and being like, these men keep not liking me, and why can't I get a boyfriend? And they all run after they whatever. But it's like I know exactly what I'm choosing, and that's what I'm attracted to. I can't help it, and I'm viscerally unattracted to people who would like me. I have a real problem with it. Like it makes my skin crawl to when I sense a man can really love me, I can go from really liking him to like, repulsion.
Yeah.
And I think that's what I have to tackle, and it's a lot of work.
Well, here's the other thing. You only have to be right once.
I know. That's good.
You don't need to. I heard Mark Cuban talking about his business philosophy, and he said, to be an all-star home run, an all-star baseball hitter, you need to hit 3 out of 10 pitches. To be a Hall of Fame baseball hitter, you need to hit 4 out of 10. To be a Hall of Fame all-star business owner, you need to hit 1 out of a million.
Wow.
So with dating, you just need to hit 1. And
I know.
1 is like, unfortunately, it's like, well, when is the pitch coming? Because I'd really like to fucking swing
And it might not ever come. Like this whole idea of like you'll find someone. I might not, and I'm okay with that because I have a really good life.
Yeah.
I would like someone to like have sex with. That's
Yeah.
the problem. It's like I just want to have sex, and it's like I can't casually.
Yeah.
And that's why I want a boyfriend. I just want to have sex again. I mean, it's seriously so fun to do.
Men, are you listening here?
Yeah. I want.
Do you want to have? Do you want to have kids?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I'm open to it. I've never met someone that I'm open. I know that I could be in a relationship where I'm like, oh, I want to make a baby and let's just do this. And I know I'd be a good mom and all those things. But I always go back to Schumer had a joke in her like first special where she was like, people always say I'd be a good mom. And it's like, yeah, I'd make a good prostitute too. It doesn't mean I should do it. And I think I would be a good mom, but I also think the world's ending. So,
You do? When?
like, I think it's going to get really bad in the next 5 years.
How so?
Just like like running out of water quickly, flooding, catastrophic weather events in places that you wouldn't expect them, like here, which we've already had. I mean, like, we could just get hit and then the storms are just out of control. We can't even predict them. So I just think that the catastrophic climate change is like imminent and I'm really scared of it. And the reason I don't want to have kids is not because I'm like, I can't show them a future and they'll never see a giraffe or a polar bear or whatever. It's not that. It's that I don't want to have to deal with a kid in the apocalypse. Like carrying around a kid when I'm trying to survive is just exhausting.
Come on, bro.
It's so much more exhausting than if I were on my own.
Oh my God. So you're staying barren for the apocalypse.
I'm really like, I just don't want to have another burden when I'm trying to survive in the end times. It's and I'll feel so guilty having brought a kid into the end times, but it's mainly about the discomfort it's causing me in the end times. And that's why I work so hard too, is I just want to be able to afford a bunker.
Have you looked into getting a bunker yet?
No, but I should start soon.
Yeah.
I'm looking for a guy who has a bunker. That's kind of what I'm looking for. I'm looking for that, disaster relief dick. I want a guy with like canned goods, a crank radio, and
a canned good shaped dick.
Yeah. Yes. That's a little thick.
Much. I know.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Edit.
No. I just mean that's too. I don't want a dick like a canned good.
Yeah, nobody
It's too
does.
big and
No.
stout.
Sorry.
No apologies. I'll tell you what I would like, but that just doesn't seem like yeah. That's too much. But
So you're looking for a boy toy with a bunker, basically.
Yeah, but it's also like
Not casual.
no.
Serious.
I guess yes, I would like a serious relationship again, but that also is like sends shivers down my spine. It's
Yeah.
like not being able. I want someone with their own life to like enter mine when I want them to.
Yeah.
A boy
maybe,
toy.
Maybe it will. Maybe it won't. I think being in the position where you're good either way is a really powerful position to be in.
Sometimes I'm not good either way, but today I'm really fine either way. It's like I don't need that. Yeah. And I'm trying not to masturbate. I'm not trying not to orgasm recently because I think it causes my depression. I think that's literally why I got depressed 3 days ago. It's because I had an orgasm the day before, and I had not had one in like months.
Wow.
And I was like doing good.
Why did you feel like you failed yourself or something, or you think the chemical reaction is just
Chemical reaction is too much, and it's like coming down from like ecstasy. Like
Yeah.
I can't just like shoot off all those things in my brain and then like live my life the next day like nothing happened yesterday. It's like I went on a
What about if you have sex with somebody? Is it the same thing, or is it a
Yes. Oh my God, it's so much more because then you're thinking about him.
Oh no.
Yeah. No, I can't. No, I'm all confused with. I mean, I don't know. I've just read this book about orgasms and how they're ruining our lives, so I'm kind of on that stretch right now. But
Are you gonna let yourself enjoy your life? You think?
Yes,
You are.
I think so. I think I'm enjoying it.
Okay.
I think that I withhold certain pleasures, but that's pleasurable to me.
Is that an exercise for you or a punishment?
punishment.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, like it's a way of like cutting. Or like, you know?
Coming.
It's coming is a way, not coming is a way of cutting. I do them both at the same time. Yeah, it's like punishing. Yeah, you don't deserve it.
Yeah.
You have to like. That's why I'm into like. I don't mean to make this all sexual, but like I'm into like porn where the girl's forced to have an orgasm because she doesn't get to choose. It's out of her hands, and that's the only way I can really enjoy something is if someone makes me do it.
Well, there's porn for everything.
Isn't there?
Yeah, I mean, there
everything.
Really is.
It's amazing that any of this overlaps. It becomes so niche.
It kind of makes you think about. It makes. I think porn. Obviously, I am of the mindset that porn is destructive more than it is helpful. But like when I did my fourth step, which I don't tell either you know what it is or you don't.
Mm-hmm.
I was told if there's a name for it, it's been done. So get over yourself. You're not unique.
Oh yeah.
Unless whatever you did is so horrendous and horrifying and embarrassing that there are no words in the English language to describe it. It's been done before millions of times. That's why they made a word for it. So like just deal with it.
I like that.
I think porn does the same thing.
Yes. That's a good point because you do feel. Is 4-step like moral inventory?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I haven't done any of that, so I don't know when people say it, but that seems to be like when I secretly think I'm such a bad person, that's good to remember. It's like, come on, bitch. You're not like, don't, because sometimes it's almost self-congratulatory of like, I'm such a bad person that like no one understands and like I can't be fixed. And it's like, you're not that special.
No.
It's a way of like feeling special.
Yeah,
feeling
of course.
broken.
Yeah. There's have you ever read Mark Manson's books?
No.
The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck.
Oh, I mean, I've heard of him, of course, but so good.
So I wrote a book about 4 years ago that is, I don't even like talking about it because it was such a low effort thing that I did. I kind of collected things that I had written over 10 years, just short little sentences, thoughts that I had that had helped me. And around the same time, he put his book out. Mine was called Happy is the New Rich. His is called The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. Mine sold 10,000 copies, which is like nothing. Or I thought it was nothing. It's not nothing, but whatever. He sold 9 million copies.
Right.
And when his book came out, I was like, fuck this guy. I was just hating on him. Hardcore. I said, oh, you put the word fuck in your title, and now all of a sudden,
right.
like, oh, you're
That's kind of what I thought about that book. I kind of rolled my eyes. Like, that's what.
Then I read the book, and I was like, oh my God, this book is amazing.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. I got to read it.
He talks about the, what you said before, something you said before kind of reminded me of it. He said, the inability to appreciate the desire for a positive experience is in itself a negative experience, and the acceptance of a negative experience is of itself a positive experience. And it's like, because I've struggled with sleep for a long time, and I remember listening to this podcast with Jordan Harbinger and this guy, I think it was David Eagleman, this sleep brain expert guy, and the guy was like, you got to be careful with the sleep stuff, though, because sometimes you can get so wrapped up in sleeping right or sleeping, properly that, you get yourself wound up into an anxiety-ridden mess and you're not going to sleep well. He goes, at the very least, pick some things, implement them, and just let them work.
Yeah.
Don't stress out about over whether you went to bed at 11 or 11:15 or 11:30 or the temperature's 67 or 69. He goes, just relax, rest.
Yes.
Sleep is supposed to be rest.
Yeah.
And I don't get restful sleep.
You don't. Why?
I don't know. I just am. Honestly, I think there was one night that I slept through the night. It sticks out in my mind. I sleep through the night once every 3 to 6 months.
Okay.
With where I don't wake up to pee, eat, nothing.
Yes.
And one of the times that I did was when I had 2 chiropractic adjustments in a row, and some of the tension in my body was released. And I think it has.
Yeah, you're too bulked up. You can't relax. You're constantly this.
I know. I think a lot of it has to do with.
How can you get cuddly and snuggly if you're so muscly?
I look at my son go like this when he goes to bed. I'm like, how are you?
How could you
your
even
hand-
do that? Yeah, your muscles don't allow your body to snuggle with
No,
yourself.
I feel like this.
Yeah, that's what you need. You need to get stretched out.
Yeah, I do
You're
need to get stretched out.
Tense. You need to get massages more often.
Massages don't do it for me.
Yeah, but I mean like real, like not these pussy massages. Like you need to get really loosened up.
Yeah, no, I have done something called ART before, which is active release therapy.
Oh.
Where they dig their thumb into your muscle, but it hurts.
Yeah.
It
I
hurts
love
a
that
lot.
so much.
You
Whenever
wind
I
up-
go get a massage, I'm like, hurt me.
You wind up bruising.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
I
not.
love it.
I think stretching would probably be helpful for me.
Yeah. The thing about sleep, I struggle with that too, and I think everyone does. Something that's helped me is when you're up really. Let's say you gotta get up at 7 and it's 3 a.m. And you're just like, what the fuck? And at this point, you're like, I might as well not sleep, or you're just think about it like if it was 3 p.m. and you had something to do at 7 p.m.
Yeah.
You would be like, wow, I get to take a dope ass nap.
Yeah.
That's a long fucking nap.
Oh, yeah.
And so change your perception of it as like, what a great long nap as opposed to a really shitty sleep.
Yeah.
Because then at least you can get what you can out of it.
I don't not sleep. I do sleep. I just
Yeah.
don't get restorative sleep, I don't think.
Interesting. Well,
Or
you
maybe
probably
I
have
do.
apnea.
Oh, I definitely have fun.
Well, why don't you get... But I will say that it's not aging you. You look younger than your age, and usually people that don't get good sleep, you must be getting something. Like,
Yeah.
you would look like shit. If that's why I'm, like, focusing on my sleep again, is because when I see...
Is that why you look like an angel?
I mean, this looks like I've only slept my whole life. Like, this lighting is so good. I look 22.
Welcome to the world, Nikki.
I mean, I cannot believe how good I look in this shot. This is not real.
Looks like I've only
I
slept.
mean, it's so good. So anyway, but earlier today, though, I got my hair and makeup done because I was at a shoot earlier, and I was in this awful lighting. I mean, this is all lighting. That light is just amazing, and I'm taking it home with me.
We'll get you one.
Oh my God, I can't stop looking. But I was just sitting in some terrible lighting, getting my makeup done, and I was like, I can't believe how disgusting. I mean, it was like making me go crazy. I was like, I couldn't. She kept being like, does this look good? And I'm like, don't make me look at myself anymore. I can't take it. And I looked at myself, and all I could see is like, you didn't sleep well last night. Like, I can see it in my face when I don't sleep well. When you get in your 30s, you start to see lack of sleep. Whereas in your 20s, it doesn't really...
Register.
No.
Yeah.
And I'm at the age where I can have bad face days, and I cannot have bad face days. I'm on camera too much. And so now I'm trying to get good sleep just because it's vanity, not because of, like, it's going to cause Alzheimer's, which it does.
It is. I mean, sleeping is.
It's my favorite thing.
I didn't realize. I thought bad face days were like only in the teens.
Really? Oh, I mean, like with acne and stuff?
No, I just mean where like all of a sudden you wake up and you decide today you're ugly. Like, I haven't had an ugly day in a long.
Really?
long,
Because
long, long
you've
time.
done a lot of work on yourself. I have ugly days all the time, and there are days when it's like it's legit, dude. Like my face, like I slept in a weird way. Or I've
think it's
retained water
yeah.
in a weird way. Like there's just days where my face looks better.
Okay. I'm with you.
having a great moment right now. Tomorrow morning it'll change, but like some days I'm like, God, you're beautiful, and then other days I'm like, you're the ugliest thing that's God has ever created. Like that's the black and white for me. There's no gray area. But yeah, I've just noticed like when I get good sleep, it shows up on camera big time,
Why do you? I mean,
and that's what I'm trying now.
I don't think your career. I think that. I mean, obviously you're beautiful, but I don't think
Thanks.
that's gotten you to where you are.
Thank you.
Right?
I don't know. I mean, some people would say it is because early on I was younger and somewhat arguably cuter. Not really. I mean, I went through some really weird phases even after I started comedy, but so much of your identity when you're a young girl coming up in comedy is that everyone wants to fuck you. That's why you get sets. That's why you get this. That's why you get that. And I knew that people might think that, but I knew I was getting it because or I at least knew that I could deliver. Yeah, give me a set because you want to bang me, but I'm also going to be super funny, so fuck you.
Yeah.
Say what you want. So, but there is a sneaking suspicion that you've been getting things because people want to have sex with you. And so as you age in this business and those things, and you stop being as fuckable, there's a worry that the opportunities won't be there. And not that I'm not funny, but that the opportunities won't be there. Like no one wants to hear a funny, ugly lady.
Yeah.
But I'm not saying that I don't want to. That's my biggest fear.
Yeah.
Is that, and people go, but you'll never be ugly. And I'm like, well, yeah, I mean, yes, I will. Like, if I plan on living as long as I want to, like, when you get old and have age spots and your skin's falling off your face, it's not that you're not beautiful in your own way, but that's not something that men want to have sex with anymore. And I hope to not be fuckable at that time.
I think what broke my black and whiteness was career-wise something that happened. It was actually not that long ago. This maybe was the last black and white notion that I held was when, the way I make money now and what I do for a living is like a dream, and I'm always scared it's going to end. eventually, which it probably will,
Yeah.
will be fine. I'll have done something else by then, hopefully.
Yes.
But I grew up knowing that Capadonna, who was in the Wu-Tang Clan, drove a cab in Amityville after the Wu-Tang Clan broke up.
Right.
Like, that's how he made his living.
Oh.
So for me, I'm like, if I don't make it on Instagram, if Tank's Good News doesn't become a media conglomerate and all this other stuff, and I don't make a certain amount of money by this age so I can live off the interest, I'm going to drive a cab in Amityville. It's like the only
You have
other
a plan.
option.
Yeah. Which
But my friend Adam goes, bro, that's never going to happen. Like, you don't have to go from your dream job all the way down to driving a cab in Amityville.
Yes.
A, you're not Capadonna. You're more Method Man. B, he's probably on drugs, and you don't do drugs. So, like, maybe you get a job at Instagram or a job doing sales for some whatever company. There's a million different things you could do. And I was
Yes.
like, oh, God, okay. And it made me enjoy everything so much more.
yeah, I think about that too. Like if I don't do this, then I'm
Waitressing somewhere.
yeah. And it's like no, that's not it.
not gonna happen.
I mean, I don't know what else I'd do. I'd probably want to waitress somewhere. It seems like I used to waitress. It was kind of
Me
rewarding.
too. I waited tables for 10 years. It was
Oh, that's
great.
a long time. But do you liked it?
I liked earning my money. I also liked the perspective that I brought to it, which is I remember working at this restaurant in California, and in California in 2009, things were really, really bad. Financially,
Yeah,
things were really
no one
bad.
was going out to eat.
No one was going out to eat. If they were coming out to eat, I remember this woman sat down and she had a baked potato as her entree, and I was like,
Where did you work?
at Nick's in San Clemente.
Oh.
And I was like, that baked potato's $6.
Oh my God, you're making
God. Making no money, and they sat
buck.
there for an hour and a half. It was just bad, and a buck, and then I got to tip out the busboy, the food runner, the
it's-
bartender. It was just really, really bad. And I asked at another restaurant, I said, "What do you guys make here on an average weekday night?" And they were like, "Whatever it was, $100." I was like, "Fuck, $100? It's not, it's not enough." And I told a friend of mine about it. And he goes, "Bro, maybe that's what they can make. Like, you make what you make." And I was like, "Oh my God, you're right. Maybe they suck. I don't know these people. I just walked up to someone
Wow.
in a random restaurant
Right.
and asked them." So it really is, I think, about what value you bring and what irreplaceable
yes.
substance you bring to whatever situation you're
That's
in.
what I liked about waitressing is that every time I opened the book to see what they left me, it was a little surprise. It was
Yep.
a little like it's almost like Instagram, like a like.
Yeah.
It's like a little quick hit of oxytocin of like, oh, I earned that.
Yeah.
And there's you can't predict it.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it lets you down, but it seems to be like you can maybe control it, which you can't.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you give your best service and will tip 20% no matter what, or 10% no matter what.
Yeah.
But then sometimes you get like a great surprise. I like that about waitressing, and you get to interact with people.
Forgot about that.
There's like a thrill in like being like, and then opening the book and being like, oh, yeah.
Yeah. But your career, as it stands right now, is simply on fuego.
Yeah, but I also have the thing of I just see other people's careers and they go up and you go down and you go up and you go down.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to go down again at some point, but I'm on an upswing right now. I mean, it's even gone down a little bit since like I had my special come out and I did the roast all in like 2 weeks. It was like the two biggest things that I've ever done in my career back to back. So I was everywhere. People were talking about me. I was getting tons of new followers. I was getting recognized in the street. Like I was just, people were seeing me online and then they would recognize me on the train. Like I was getting recognized a lot and I was like, oh, this is my new life. Like I've reached a new level but now it's been 2 weeks since my special came out and I'm not on the front page of Netflix anymore.
Yeah.
And I'm not getting recognized at all anymore. It
Really?
like went away. Yeah.
You don't
So
get
I've
recognized before the special came out?
a little bit here and there, but when those 2 weeks, the first 2 weeks of October, the first week of October, goddamn, I mean, it was crazy. I was like, wow, I'm famous. Like
You were walking tall.
I was feeling like good. I didn't love it. I wasn't like, oh my God, I can't wait to get more. I want more of this. It was like, this is a good level of it. Like
Yeah.
people, I could see that people are clocking me and being like, I know who that is, smiling at me a little bit more. I'm just like, oh, finally I'm getting this like recognition I've always wanted.
But love me.
But it's already dropped off. And
Yeah.
that's just given me a sense of what this whole business is like it's ups and downs and you're never hot for the whole time. You can't just stay hot forever. It's going to be ebbs and flows. And so I whenever I get a TV show, people are like, oh my God, you got a TV show. And I literally, both times I've gotten a TV show, people have congratulated me and I'm like, it's going to get canceled. And they're like, why would you say that? That's the first thing you say. And I'm like, because it will. And I'm like, I'm grateful for it, but everything gets canceled. Unless you're Friends or Seinfeld and you quit on your own accord.
Yeah.
You're going to get, people are going to fire you at some point.
Yeah.
And so I probably shouldn't focus on that stuff, but I do. And when I'm fired, I always think there'll be another show. I'll get picked up again.
Yeah.
So you got to look at both sides of it.
Do you read Stoic philosophy at all?
No.
Oh, you would love it.
I know I would. I've heard a lot about it, about the Stoics, and I didn't even know what that meant. But what does it mean? What am I going to find there?
You're going to find principles to live.
Oh.
Unconditional living is just, the thing that I was thinking of when you were talking was they're I forget who said it, but a rock is not changed by being thrown in the air or dropped on the ground. Like, it's still the rock, whether it's 8 feet in the air or it's on the ground. Doesn't change by going up or down.
Oh, right.
It retains its rock essence, right?
Yeah,
so
it's rockiness.
as a person, there's Ryan Holiday is like the forefront of it right now.
Okay.
He's basically, we do have some modern problems. I'm not one of those people who likes to say that, things are going worse or different or kids these days. Whenever someone starts a sentence with kids these days, I'm like, oh, shut the fuck up.
I know.
It's always been
You
kids
were a
these
kid
days.
once. Don't you realize that you
They forget.
once were doing something that the old people were like, what's going on?
Yeah, when the Beatles came out.
Yeah.
This is going to be the downfall of society.
I can't, it's like I never understood that about when I was a kid, and I remember Cruella de Vil hated kids. Or like there was some villain character that hated kids, and I would always just tell my parents, but she was a kid once. Or like Nanny Flanagan or whatever from Annie hated kids. I'm like, but what about when she was a kid? Why can't we all just have enough empathy?
Because we forget.
We forget. Okay, so the Stoics, Ryan Holiday.
So Ryan Holiday kind of takes these ancient philosophy notes that they wrote themselves. These guys were just jotting down shit in a journal. They weren't like writing books.
On tablets.
Yeah, like papyrus or whatever.
Yeah.
And he connects the philosophy and the principles to modern problems. It's just really smart. It's really good.
I'm going to check it out. You've
should.
already given me so much. Where do you find the time to read all of this?
I read snippets always.
Okay, yeah,
Always
so
read
do
snippets. Like instead of reading, once I get my fill of Instagram for the day,
Yes.
I usually know I'm like, all right, enough with the fucking Instagram. Enough.
You have that voice.
I have that in me. I'll open a book and I'll say, what am I reading right now? Oh, I'm reading that I had this guy on the podcast earlier. His name's Kyle Carpenter. There was a very famous picture of him going around where his face was blown off. He was the youngest Medal of Honor recipient, living Medal of Honor recipient. What an unbelievable human being. You talk about stoicism and principles and living unconditionally and honor, just like the living incarnate version of that.
So he wrote like an autobiography?
He wrote his story, but it was like a little bit about war, but more about who he is as a person and why he chose to join the Marines and what he got out of it and what he's doing now. But Stoic philosophy, I had Ryan Holiday on here, and he's just like the Stoics. It was Seneca, Epictetus, Marcus Aurelius were the big ones. Marcus Aurelius was an emperor. Seneca, I believe, was a slave. So it was like two people from very different walks of life kind of having the same experience, even back then, 2,000 years ago. So it's just, I find that it helps me navigate these problems that we have today where some guy on the internet tells me to go fuck myself. And it's like there's a philosophy for that I can apply. I don't have to internalize that.
God.
Yeah,
there's
good.
a lot of helpful things out there. And I think that I bet a lot of your listeners have the same problem of like, because black and white thinking, if I don't read books unless I can finish them. And so then I don't even start.
Oh, I never finish books.
I don't either. Self-help books, so often they need to fill up an entire book to fulfill the publishing order.
Yeah.
And so they put in a bunch of garbage that you don't need. There's a great app called Blinkist. Do you know of that?
Wonderful, yeah.
Where you can read nonfiction books, and they're pretty much, the Cliff's Notes version.
Yeah.
And you can get everything
what you
that
need.
Yeah.
You don't, I mean, that's really, I appreciate you bringing that up because I think that is an important thing to mention, the fact that this is not high school anymore. There's not going to be a book report.
No.
If you read a book and you get one thing out of it, it was worth the time you spent on it.
Totally.
If you get 5, way worth the time.
I have so many, like every self-help book, I've read a quarter of it, and I go, I get what they're saying. Because they're written
so
for
funny.
dumb people, and I'm not dumb. Do you know what I mean? They're written for people to pick
I
up in
see
the
the
airport
title,
on the
I
way to
understand.
the Tampa. You know what I mean? Like, they're written for...
Dumb people go to Tampa, you're saying?
No, but like...
They don't go to Miami.
Well, yeah, oh yeah, they do.
They go to Tampa more readily than
Yeah,
Miami.
Tampa's just a funnier word. that I always use for whenever I'm talking about the airports. But like, yeah, they're written. A lot of books are written for stupid people, and so if it's one of those books, you can kind of go, okay, I see where they're going.
Yeah.
Or just if you get one, like I read this book, The Tools. Have you heard of that?
No.
Great book. Stoltz is the last name. Phil Stoltz, I think. Schultz. And he wrote this the book of tools, and I think there's like 7 of them, probably maybe 4 to 7 tools. I read one of the tools. It helped me so much. I applied it. It helped me edit my special, which was the hardest process I've ever gone through. And it just one thing I got out of his book, and I never finished it. And I might not ever, but what a gift that one tool was.
Well, if you treat it like an album or like a
Yes.
new, if there's
The
album,
single.
the deep cuts, you don't need the deep. I mean, they're good for super fans, but you don't need them to
Yes.
get the point.
That's a really good point.
Wait, so your special, why was it so hard to edit?
Because I was having to look at myself, and I was very critical of choices I made, and why didn't I say it this way, and why did I have to do it that way, and why didn't I say this tag that's hilarious, and what my timing was off, just second guessing everything and thinking, what is wrong with you? Why would you say it that way when every time you've said it the other way, and just being disappointed in myself and having to just look at that is really, really difficult. And then I shot too much material, and I had to cut it down to 1 hour, and I had to cut a lot of stuff, and just putting it all together and making it all flow, it was just a nightmare. It was a nightmare. It was the hardest thing I've ever done.
Now, why did you edit it and not somebody else?
Because I did have someone else actually do the editing, but I was the one that said I want this here and this there, and this bit goes into this, and cut to, I gave him specific instructions, and then he made it look beautiful, because I could have outsourced it, but then they would have made choices in the final cut that I would have been like, I hate that.
Yeah.
And I would have been mad at myself for not doing the thing that doing the hard thing, which the hard thing is looking at yourself, Nikki Glaser. And it's hard to do, but you got to do it, girl. And so I read that book, The Tools, and the tool that he talked about, the first tool is fear and how we can be paralyzed by it. I'm always paralyzed by even and this was so bad for me. Editing the special was so hard that I'm never someone who's late on a deadline. And if I am, I give a good excuse and I get it in when they actually need it. This was getting to the point where I didn't know if I was going to hit the deadline, and I kept pushing it. And I was just like, maybe I'm not going to even be able to do this. And I should be able to. I can. May I? I don't know. And I was struggling so much. I was in a bad mood constantly, because it was a thing that I was always, you should be doing this right now. You should be editing your special. Netflix is waiting. And I finally read this book, and it said, the mantra was, I love fear. Fear sets me free. Bring it on. I love fear. Fear sets me free. Bring it on. And he talks you through each of those statements. Mm-hmm. But if you embrace fear and you actually look forward to feeling fear, then you can encounter fear, and fear can take you and push you through the thing. It actually is a force that will inspire you and push you to overcome what it is if you harness the fear and actually invite it in, as opposed to resisting it. So much of our energy is spent resisting things. So much of pain is resisting pain. When I have a headache, I'm like, I always listen to this meditation that Sam Harris does for pain management and during it, he's having a migraine. He's like talking, whenever I have a migraine, I put it on so I can fall asleep. And you're just supposed to, instead of fighting the pain, which is so much of a migraine, is like, when is this going to end? It's good. Well, you are able to get through it in this moment right now. So you're fine. Yeah. If you're able right now to be okay, then whatever you're fearing, it's not just, you are getting through it. In the present moment, and thinking about what it could be. Do I have a tumor? All that stuff is
normal, but
fighting. It's resisting. And if you just actually embrace your pain and your fear, it won't hurt as bad.
Yeah.
But so hard to do. But it was the only way I got through that.
I agree.
Thank God for self-help books. Thank fucking God, dude. I quit drinking with a self-help book. I healed my back pain with a self-help book. I quit smoking with a self-help book. And I'm trying to find a boyfriend with a self-help book. I really believe in books.
You're an Alan Carr fan, right?
A huge Alan Carr fan. Changed my life.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, I also go to, I've had outside help, and I've definitely, when I quit drinking, I channeled it into other really destructive behaviors, but it's Alan Carr is the reason that I don't drink.
Yeah. A friend of mine, Chris, stopped drinking with that book. He's been sober for like 5 years.
Yeah. And smoking. Yeah, the easy way to stop drinking, the easy way to stop smoking. It's just like, it just made sense to me. It's just, like you said, your therapist said one thing and you were like, whoa, changed my thinking. That's the way those books worked. It was like, I never thought of it that way. Boom, done.
But that's the work, and that's what I think a lot of people are not willing to do. Sometimes I'll feel guilty about being so happy and enjoying my life so much, and I'm like, I do the work. I'm not going to feel guilty about being big. I go to the gym. I've been going to the gym every day for not every day, but regularly for the last 26 years. I earned the muscle. I'm not going to feel bad about it.
Yeah. I don't feel bad about my success because of the same thing. I'm like, the work is there.
Yeah.
If I wasn't as successful, there'd be something wrong. I work way too hard to not have turned this into something. But I will say that when I feel that's interesting about happiness. Like, don't feel guilty about being happy.
But you're honest with the level of work you put in. The problem, I think, is when people convince themselves and lie to themselves that they have put the work in when they really haven't, and then they look at somebody else who actually has, and they're like, well, why don't I have what they have?
Yeah.
You probably haven't done as much, A. B, there is some luck involved in these situations.
Absolutely.
There really is. And it's not that everybody that works hard makes it, but nobody that doesn't work hard makes it.
Yes.
Your chances are zero
right.
of making it if you don't work hard.
Yeah, it won't last. When these male comics get so mad about these young guys that have a pop, I'm like, don't worry about it. If he's not good, he's not going to last. That's the thing. It's like, I will say that, luck has been a big part of my career, but I would be this funny. Maybe not this successful without luck, but I would be this funny without luck because of the work.
Being born in the 1980s, 90s, whenever you're born in America during a time where this, comedy is valued. If you were born 100 years ago,
oh God, thank God I wasn't. It is the greatest time to be a woman, and all I do is complain about being a woman, but it is literally the best we've ever had it. It's only in the past 50 years that we don't get raped all the time, and that it's illegal to do that. And in some countries, it's still not illegal. It's so good to be a woman right now, but it still sucks.
Yeah. Well, it sucks to be a human.
It does.
In general.
Yeah. Having consciousness is really
a gift and a curse.
I mean, yeah, it is.
Yeah, I guess the best you can do is make it feel more like a gift sometimes.
Yeah.
Than a curse. 5149.
I wish they just would have taught meditation in school.
I wish they would have taught anything. Anything useful.
Emotional intelligence in school.
Yeah.
But that's why I love comedy right now. It's like the people that are thriving and having the most success are the ones that are most in touch with their emotions and being honest, because that's what comedy is now. It's like people just want people to be honest. Thank God, because that's all I can do.
Well, I've said that, and I don't get too political on here, but I feel like Trump supporter type people don't understand why Hollywood is so liberal, and all the creative people are so against him. It's like, well, sensitivity comes from emotional intelligence, and emotionally intelligent people don't like Trump. The emotionally unintelligent people like him, the mechanics and the carpenters and the people who do the other things that make this world possible to live in. So
yes,
Giannis Pappas and I have spoken about this, about how hard it is to get work done as a liberal, and not just. Bro, I don't want to. Can you just fix my toilet, please? I don't want to talk about Hillary Clinton and her emails.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
I just want you to fix my shit, dude.
Oh, I don't have to.
I look like I want to talk about Trump.
They're desperate to talk to you about
this
it.
This guy loves Trump, bro.
That's
fix his toilet. We're gonna go to a rally. I don't know.
Oh my God, you must get it all the time.
All the time.
So that's interesting. Yeah,
it happened at jiu-jitsu the other day. This guy was like, "You like Trump, right?" I'm like, not really. I mean, I don't want to talk about it.
Please,
You're gonna break my arm.
I'm just gonna disappoint you. I know.
They're like, "What? You looking like that?" They actually literally said, "You looking like that?" I'm like, "Yeah, I know. I look like his wet dream," but I'm not.
I will say something about what we were talking about before about hard work and people that convince themselves that they work hard. A lot of that has to do with I quit drinking because I saw it interfering with working hard. You can't drink hard and work hard. I mean, and you can in your 20s, but then the hangover is what I was like, oh, I'm not gonna be able to work as hard if I'm hungover. I just can't get out of bed. And so that's what made me kind of want to stop drinking more than anything, was like, oh, I can't work as hard.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of people go, I deserve this. And it's like, well, if you get drunk every night, you're not working hard. I'm sorry. You're just not.
Yeah, they're not being honest.
They're not being honest.
Yeah.
Which is, it's hard to be honest with yourself.
Very difficult.
If sometimes you can't be. They literally don't have the means to be.
Yeah.
They haven't been taught it. Thank God. I mean, there are parts of me that wish I wasn't that self-aware. Maybe I'm not that
me too.
self-aware.
I remember I said to my friend Adam when that whole Kavanaugh thing was going on, I was like, I would watch him talk and I'd be like, it seems like he's telling the truth. I don't know. And then I'd watch her talk and I'd be like, oh, she's definitely telling the truth. Like, it definitely happened.
Right.
And then I said to him, I said, it's fucked up that you can tell somebody's politics by whether or not they believe somebody got raped. I'm in the gray on this. I wish I could just pick a side and be like, I'm liberal, I believe her. Or I'm conservative, I believe him. But I can't. And it's not something that I would change about myself. I think it's more of a gift than a curse, but it is a little bit much sometimes to have to fucking second guess every thought and action I take, every step I take.
Yeah. Just if you could if black and white.
Yeah.
If everything just had yes and no. I missed the whole Kavanaugh trial thing. Like when people talk about that, I mean, I know what happened and I know the broad strokes of it. More so, I know the specifics, but during that whole movement, I was on Dancing with the Stars, so I literally didn't know any news. Like I was just in this reality show competition that kept me isolated from news, from the literal fires that were burning up into the doorstep of the dance studio I was practicing in. Like the world was on legit fire that month and I didn't know any of it. That's and so whenever I get little, like when people talk about it, I'm just like, sure. I believe women. I don't really know. Yeah.
Just real quick before we wrap up, one of the best jokes I think I've heard you make is that Dancing with the Stars is just jury duty for celebrities.
Oh yeah. Thank you.
Oh my God.
Thanks.
I think about that a lot.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
It's just very fucking funny.
Thank you. Yeah,
You're a very, very good comedian.
Thanks.
I think that whatever luck you've been thrown, it wouldn't have been as effective or taken hold as much if you weren't so talented. Obviously, you work hard, but you have a gift also for joke writing and execution.
Yeah, I worked on that joke because that was like one that I needed. I had a whole chunk about Dancing with the Stars, and I was like, I can't stand just being like, I was on Dancing with the Stars, and then like, there's no joke there.
You said it on Lights Out, right?
Yeah, I said on Lights Out, but it's from my act, and it's just like a way to get into Dancing with the Stars, which is like they asked me, and it's just an intro. Like I'm OCD like that. Like I need constant validation that I'm being funny, so I'm not comfortable having a second go by without a joke. So that joke was written just because it's like, I can't just say I was on Dancing with the Stars. I have to have a joke there. So I was like, what could be the joke? And then I was thinking about, it's not that big of a deal that you weren't Dancing with the Stars. Let's be honest with ourselves. They eventually come asking. The show's been on for 28 seasons and there are 13 stars per season. It's happening in 52 countries. Most of the world's population has been on Dancing with the Stars at this point.
Yeah.
It's like, it's crazy. Every celebrity has been on it. It's not special at all.
So funny.
But yeah, you'll be on it someday. Would you do it?
I was asked to do it, and then it was taken away. I was asked barely by one of the girls on it if I'd be interested in maybe talking to somebody about doing it, and then I was like, what happened with that? And she's like, I don't know.
Yeah, well, if they ever come ask it, you should do it. It's
I'm a sick dancer.
Thing. You are?
A great dancer.
Oh my God, you would be amazing. I hope that you do it someday.
From your mouth to the producer's ears.
It's so fun. I want to do it again. It was the best.
Maybe we could be partners.
They don't let you have.
We can break the rules.
Break the rules. Yeah. Okay. Well, we're not going to get a lot done then because I'm terrible. But you know what you're doing?
I'm so good.
You could like choreograph a dance.
No, I'd have to hire a choreographer.
Yeah. Okay. So that's
choreographer.
Yeah. You need to hire someone to help you say that word.
Vocal coach.
Yes.
Do you want to plug anything, or is there anything like that hasn't?
No, my phone's charged. I feel good. You mean? Instagram Nikki Glaser. My stories are really funny. Watch them. Yep. I put effort into it. I have a podcast called the You Up Podcast. It comes out every Friday, which features clips from my SiriusXM show, which is every Monday through Thursday, 2 hours every morning, 10 to 12 Eastern on Channel 95. So if you have Sirius or a rental car, tune in to my show You Up with Nikki Glaser. And then I have a free podcast that comes out on Friday, which is I love doing, and it's like me on the road and talking you through clips from the week.
And your Netflix special.
My Netflix special banging. That's why I'm really here. Yes. My Netflix special banging. Watch it again. Watch it over and over. Let Netflix know that you like me. And
just let it
hopefully
play in the background as you clean, whatever.
Seriously, do that. Like, but definitely watch it. And definitely, if you aren't into maybe what I'm talking about, give it to a woman in your life. Women really, I think men, I have more male fans than women. So sometimes people think of me as like a female comic that only is women are into. But men will like my stand-up. But women really are relating to the special. And I feel like they're really feeling seen. And it's empowering a lot of them, and that's been really awesome to hear.
Good.
So,
All good,
banging
all
is the name
around.
of it. Yeah, and I'm going on tour. I'm doing my first theater tour, January through
Oh
May.
my God, really?
I've been doing clubs for 15 years of my career, and now I'm finally doing theaters,
Wow.
and it's really exciting, and I'm selling out places. So get your tickets now, nikkiglaser.com/tour. All new material not seen on any special.
I think that's unbelievable. It's
Thank you.
amazing. It's not unbelievable. It's very believable.
Thank you.
But unbelievable in the good
I'm
way.
so glad to know you. I think you're so special, and I love what you talk about and what you do, and I just think I'm so glad to know you. I like to, you look like a guy I wouldn't have a lot in common with, like I said, like that guy said at jiu-jitsu the other day. And then you start talking and you're just the kindest, most emotionally raw and thoughtful, not even raw, like just because you're not like blubbering, crying, but like you're such a good example for what men should strive to be.
Wow.
And I hope that more, because you're a manly man that like looks like everything that a man should be, but also you have this heart and this, and you're a feminist, I can tell. I don't mean to put that word on you, but I believe that you might be.
Yeah.
Yeah, of
well,
course.
I'm a feminist in the good way.
Yeah, I mean,
Not
like,
there's some feminism that borders into misandry, but I don't. Go
right,
there.
like just like I'm a vegan in the good way. Like the
Yes.
other day, PETA posted something about silkworms and worms have feelings too, and I'm like, we gotta, guys.
You're
This isn't
losing
good.
people.
You're losing me, PETA, and I'm a big PETA support. Like I do like what PETA does. I know that they people say that they do bad things, but yes, you're a feminist. You're a good person. I'm grateful for you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much.